FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Putsianis, no call! Score!
Salamini for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Lazanovsky with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Blasts.
Yes!
That's it!
Miljevic.
Beautiful ball! Here's Bozanic. They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Danikian and George Kotsanis on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Mike's up.
Oh, I get to wave at the camera. George Danikian, that's George Kotsanis. And this person here is our Matilda Deb Nichols. You come to us in a very unique way with, I think, the only person I've ever met who has not one but two birth certificates. Please explain yourself.
My father served in the British military army and he was based in West Germany.
Not Wiesbaden, but in Hanover.
In Hanover, yes. I was born in a British military hospital
So it's
in
like
Hanover.
it's like being born on a bit of very special England, away from England.
Yes, technically England, but not.
So your birth certificate signifies to all and sundry that you are a member of the British Empire.
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Well, I didn't really take much notice of it until I got my Australian passport, and then going back to the UK with Hanover as your birthplace, lots of questions, like I was a foreigner coming into the country of my birth.
Yes, can you imagine though, wanting to play in Europe? You could have played anywhere and everywhere.
I could have, but then I couldn't claim German citizenship or any part of Germany. That was part of the deal.
Or a German pension or anything like that.
Nothing like that. No.
Shoo. See, you win some and you lose some. Deb Nichols, great to have you on board here at FNR, and more importantly, George Kotsanis' favourite show called The Pioneers.
It's my only show, George. That's what's my favourite show. Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
No, thank you.
What have you got to ask Deb?
Well, every week, you know what happens about this time.
Yeah, you want to take it way back.
Yeah, way back, and ask her very first football memory.
They're all pointed questions, so just understand.
This one's the hardest.
If you say no to him, he'll take it as an assault for years.
My first football memory.
Take us way back.
Way back. Probably my very first game for Springvale City when I was 12. We played at Waverley. Kick off, got the ball on the right wing, went down the right wing, and the fullback for Waverley just kicked me straight up in the air. And no shin pads in those days. I can still hear my father now yelling, "Get up!" And I hadn't hit the ground at that point.
This is your father, Michael?
Yes, my father, Michael, yelling at me to get up. And because obviously at 12 I was playing in senior football, so this was about probably a 21-year-old fullback that went, "You're not getting past me." So that was one.
They didn't want to get shown up, you see, by a 12-year-old.
No, I got a penalty out of it.
Hey, hallelujah!
Yeah, I did in the end. I made sure I made a run into the box to get the penalty.
See how good that question is, George. What we discovered was Deb wore no shin pads, old school.
Correct.
Which is terrific.
Oh,
right.
Are you wearing yours?
You soft New South Welshman. And
excuse me, I was a goalkeeper. I didn't need them.
And she said she was a right winger. What do we really love on this show, George?
We're right wingers.
All wingers, left wingers, right wingers.
No, just right wingers.
One simple question, and we discovered so much.
By the way, did you ever nutmeg anybody?
Oh, plenty of times.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
She belongs to the George Kotsanis School of Nutmeggers.
It's the Wingers Union.
Oh, the wingers. Yeah, all right. Okay, be like that.
I am like that. You know I'm like that.
Okay. So you didn't play any football earlier? I thought you might have started at 6, 7, 8. You know, kicking your brother or your sister.
No, I was the oldest, so I played street football in the UK.
Well, there's a memory.
So,
that's earlier.
Yes, the garage was the goal.
The garage.
Much to my mother's horror, everything kept getting belted into the garage. But,
see, that's her English coming through. You see that? Yeah.
So I could play. We played in the school playground. I did play 1 year in the school team, but then they banned girls playing in boys football. So
how did you take to that?
They did right. They did too.
Well,
the boys didn't like to be shown up.
Oh, they brought in some gender rule in 1973, and so I had to go and play netball. So netball in the school was right next to the football pitch, and
So
I
you
could
had
see,
to watch.
I had to watch while I was playing netball. I thought that's not on, so that was pretty disappointing. So when I came here, someone said, "Oh, there's women's football."
You went, you beauty.
Beauty, and they didn't tell me it was
Seniors.
open age. Yeah, no juniors.
Do you recall when you were moving over, the reason why and how you actually felt about the idea of moving to Australia?
Well, because I'm quite old, back in that day, you didn't have any information on where you were going, so we didn't realise actually how...
No Google.
No Google. Didn't realise how long it was going to take us to get to the other side of the world.
How long did it take you to come?
It did take 2 days because we had an incident with the plane after it took off in Bahrain, so we had to go back to Bahrain and spend 12 hours.
We don't talk about Bahrain on this radio station.
No,
at
we
the moment.
don't. So, it took 2 days to get here, and we were took to the Enterprise Migrant Hostel in Springvale.
Wow.
And
Were you £10 poms effectively at that
yeah,
time?
pretty much the last of the £10 poms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was basically suddenly grow up real quick because you were surrounded by plenty of different nationalities, South American.
And bigger footballers than you ever imagined you were playing against.
Yeah, still played one-on-one. Yeah. That was good.
Very good. So it didn't take you long to sort out a club.
No, because I kept beating the boys in the hostel. Someone said, "Oh, there's a
You would have
girls'
been
team."
popular.
Yeah, I was real popular. There was a girls' team down at Springvale and said, "Take her down." So my dad said, "Oh, she's a bit young," but they said, "No, she's 12. Take her down."
A 12-year-old playing seniors.
Mm.
Didn't take long to get into the senior team, or was the
Were you
pool
tall,
of talent?
short,
I wasn't exactly tall. I was actually quite short, and I turned up.
low centre of gravity?
Yeah, low centre of gravity. I turned up for the first training session, and as I was being walked across, one of the players who was arriving late, which is Frosty. Everyone knew Frosty. After that, she grabbed me and said, "Oh, you're here for the football," and took me across. And they sort of looked at me and went, "Oh, a bit small." Then we started
Playing.
training,
Yep.
and they went. I can still remember them running down the pitch to get paperwork, obviously, and grabbing my father.
Sign her up.
Signing paperwork and giving me a shirt, and I'd only been there 10 minutes. So clearly there was something that was different.
Yeah, it's called skill. They could see it. They could
I
see
could
it.
dribble, yes, I could run the ball.
Did you have that? I won't say killer instinct. Did you have that winning instinct, that will to want to be on top of your game and beat your opponent?
Yeah, well, I was very competitive from a young age. That's basically because Dad wanted to beat us in everything we did, no matter how old we were. So it sort of made you competitive. But when you sort of playing against boys all the time, you had to sort of justify being able to be there. So you tended to wanted to do well every time.
Okay. How did Mum cope?
Oh, she was just used to me just playing football. I was out of house, I suppose. So it was
Out of mind.
Yes, out of house, out of mind.
Sisters and brothers?
Yeah, I've got a sister and a brother. My brother played. My sister had a little dabble at it, but they didn't really sort of go on with it.
So you had all the DNA that said
Yes.
champion footballer.
I was lucky. I must have inherited the skill in the family for sport.
In terms of inheriting, what number are you? Number 1, number 2, number 3?
I was number 11 at the start.
Sorry? In the family?
Oh, you talking about family? I thought to my shirt number. I'm the oldest, number 1.
All right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
You got first dibs,
Yes.
and you went back for seconds.
Yes.
Smart woman, smart woman. I like that. That's good.
So after
11. What number did you wear, Katsanis?
whatever they gave me, generally 12 to 16 on the bench I was, when it mattered, when
Okay.
numbers mattered.
All right.
But I didn't mind 7 or 11, just quietly.
Okay.
Or if it gets to 7 or 11, even better.
Perfect.
Yeah.
11.
Okay. All right. So, 12-year-old playing senior football.
Yep.
Did it take some adjusting, even though I know you, talent-wise, skill-wise, you're probably way ahead of a lot of them.
Yeah.
But there's still the physical side of the game.
Yes.
And obviously, like you said, first memory was getting kicked and landing up and whatever.
Getting a penalty.
You would have adjusted at some point, but it would take a while for the physical side to.
I was lucky. I was fast. I was quick.
So you avoided the physical
So I
side.
learnt to jump. I learned to be a bit more aware of my surroundings.
Uh-huh.
And so I learned to run fast and run with the ball. And adjusted pretty quickly.
Who took the penalty?
I do not remember that. It would definitely.
So they
wasn't
wouldn't
me.
let you take it?
No, might have been Frosty probably. She was the star centre forward at the time.
Seniority.
Yeah.
Age has seniority, doesn't
Sounds-
it?
Yeah.
Sounds a bit like Neymar to me. One of those Neymar moments.
Okay.
Give me the ball.
How long before that started developing into some junior rep teams or?
Well, there's no junior rep. But
She went to seniors.
at 15, I
Yeah.
was picked in the state squad at 15. So
Senior state squad,
Yeah.
for the first time.
for the first time. Yeah.
15. That's fantastic.
I'd grown by then as well, so that I didn't look too short in the photo, so I had grown a little bit.
Who did you play against in the first game?
I didn't play the first year.
Oh.
I was just a benchie.
Oh.
I benched the whole tournament,
So you and Katsanis almost like twins.
The
We love
luxury
those
player,
early.
skillful
Yeah.
player, the luxury player.
yeah, I ran the
Impact,
bucket. They let me
impact.
run the bucket
Get out.
for injuries. That's when the old days when they used to go up with the water bucket.
But did you understand at that point? Did you travel, or was it a home one?
No, I travelled Darwin. It was in
Okay, so
Darwin. It was
with
like
that-
an epic journey to go
Yeah,
to
so
Darwin then.
Did you come back thinking, well, while you were there, were you annoyed that you'd not played, or were you
Absolutely.
thinking you
I
weren't?
was, I was dirty. I was
Okay.
dirty. Yeah.
And the right
Not
winger
frosty.
in that squad.
Not frosty. Dirty.
Dirty.
Yeah, got it.
All right, so
Okay.
I covered Frosty and.
Yeah, Deb Nichols. Dirty. About not being allowed
So
to
what does
play.
one do when they're that dirty? And
You
you
play
come back
better
home?
next
What
time
do,
you're on.
What do you
Well,
do?
you just go. You come back the following year and try really, really hard to get in. I think I got 30 minutes the following time, and I
Oh.
thought, gee, do I still keep doing this? That was when the point where you said, do I? Because it was a fair commitment in those, even though it was only one extra session a week, and that it was still a lot of travel because it wasn't easy to get around in those days.
So where were you? Where was the big
Well, hang
squad
on. You've got to
training?
remember, from the time she was 12 till the time she was 19, Michael, her father, used to drive her everywhere.
That's right. There's
Until she got her
commitment.
licence.
Yeah,
And
well,
then,
there's a
and then the
commitment.
rules changed.
Yeah, he drove the half the team actually. It was the day when he didn't count how many people in the back seat. I can recall this kid sitting on the hump in the back.
Yeah, we
on
used
the
to
floor.
we used to have a fantastic lady when I was a young kid in Sydney growing up. Her name was Mrs. Peters, and she had an FJ Holden. And I don't know how many people she put in that, but it only used to take us one trip to get everybody to
Yeah.
the ground
Sounds
at
familiar.
Queen's Park. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah.
The old station wagons in the 70s
Mate, they did everything.
carried a lot of teams.
Oh yeah.
Without those, no seat belts, and as many in the back as you could.
What's a
station wagon.
seatbelt?
Yes, exactly.
The panel vans were pretty good as well.
Panel vans are
Yeah.
pretty
We're not going there. That sort of show.
We're talking about soccer. So,
No, thank you.
so again, what did you come away with, and what did you think? Well, you said it was borderline. Do I keep doing the work?
Yeah, do I keep doing it or do I stop because
Yeah.
of the commitment? But I suppose my father coached me at 13,
What was that like?
pretty hard.
Why?
He gave you nothing.
He gave me nothing. And I still recall, and I tell this to the kids that I coach today, that I remember sitting in the change room at half time and he come in and he pointed the finger at me, the little squirt. in the
You'd be
corner.
used
What did he call you? What did he call you? Now you're his daughter. So
It
what did he
was,
call you?
I don't remember what he called
Number
me.
11.
Number
Hey,
11.
number 11.
But he, in no uncertain terms, told me the reason we weren't winning this game at half time was because of me. And I need to pull my finger out. And and there's so you had to be. I had to be pretty tough mentally, right from an early age. So which put me in good stead for those sort of challenges that came down the track. That I could say, okay, it's a challenge. I come back again, and I keep doing it. And that's what I did.
No,
Deb,
go on.
I'm just going to ask a question. In the modern parlance, we keep hearing people saying you've got to nurture, you've got to be more supportive. The days of yelling at people and berating them and all that sort of stuff is long gone. You're a coach.
Yes.
Okay. Was Dad's way effective? Was it helpful? Or in this day and age, it would not work?
I have to, in coaching this day and age, balance between old school
Yep.
and new school.
Okay.
And knowing
So it
when-
depends on the
yes.
personality,
And
does
when
it?
to use old school with them
Uh-huh.
and when to use new school with them.
Okay.
That's a harder balance because you've got to flip. I don't let them off softly because my view is that you need to be strong mentally. You need to have resilience if you want to play international football. Even if you want to get through half of life now, you have to be mentally strong and you can't be pussyfooted around.
And not only that, if you take something, like for example a setback, you've got to have that gumption, you've got to have that will to fight back.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's how you climb up, isn't it?
Exactly.
And take the next challenge. That's the mark of a player, a mark of a woman, and the mark of that thing called ticker.
Yes.
That
Ticker's very important.
Michael you would have demanded, wouldn't he?
Yes.
So in hindsight, Michael actually built up resilience that probably helped you for the long term, even up until today.
Yeah,
At the
the
time, you
combi-
wouldn't have thought that.
No, combination of that and having to prove yourself as a girl in a boys' game. Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so you're at the crossroads, and then you're saying to yourself, will I, won't I? The commitment's huge. Do I want to be doing this? Clearly the passion was the driving force because you really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But you're balancing about time and commitment
Yeah.
now.
And I
What got you over the line?
I took a year off state football because it was my HSC in those days. It was
Yep.
my final year of school, so I actually also took that and said, no, I'll do my HSC because you actually had to have that in them days. You really couldn't get money out of football, so I had to get an education. So I did that, and then I came, not long after that, Springvale pretty much stopped. They folded, and I went to Dandenong North. About that time, I was about 18, 19. And,
Good decision.
It was a good decision, yeah. It was a great decision. They tried to get me a few years before. They tried to make the Rampal. Had tried to get me a few years before, but I wouldn't leave Springvale while it was still going. So, and that's where I met Jane Oakley and played a lot of football with Jane Oakley. Yeah.
Probably a good time now to, we're going to use Jane in the word association a bit later, but now that you've mentioned Jane,
Yeah, she's opened the door. Go for it.
describe the friendship, the player, the person.
And how has she helped you in your journey to become a Matilda?
We were terribly competitive.
Ooh, so it
Because-
starts at the very beginning, huh?
Yeah, I was the new person on the block, and
Got
she'd
it.
been the best player in the team for a while. So that was an interesting.
What was the age gap between the two of you, roughly?
A couple of years, I think. It's
Okay.
probably more. She'll probably kill me for saying that. It's probably it's a couple
Just,
of
we'll go with a couple then.
yeah, a couple of years, and so
You're 35, she's 37.
I wish. So it was interesting at the start, but then obviously we learnt to really see the benefit of each other because obviously we're both terribly competitive, and she was extremely demanding on the pitch. At this point, I'd moved to centre forward, and she used to play on the left. And
Service.
service.
Yep.
Service had to be. If you didn't put that ball on that piece of grass, you copped it. And that was the old days when you could cop it, when you could tell someone that that's not good enough on the
There's
pitch.
nothing. Today that's bullying.
Deb,
In the
Yeah.
old
Deb,
days,
Deb,
it was.
George has got a story about an old teammate of his who the only person who didn't see him as a teammate was that guy. He thought he was playing by himself all the time, and George kept sitting there thinking, one of these days the penny will drop and you'll pass the ball to me and you'll see after I score and we win the game what a dunce you are. Did that ever happen, George? Or you don't want to mention the name because the
No.
guy still
No.
still irritates you to this day.
There was a lot of people who irritated me through football, and it wasn't because they wouldn't pass to me. But no, what I do get is the cold sweats when I think about those moments when I probably berated people for not giving me the ball. But it was accepted
Okay.
in those days. Today it would be bullying. Today you would be kicked off. Today you would be embarrassed and told to go away and never
Yes.
come back again. But in those days,
Yeah.
carry on.
So how did you
It was
break the
acceptable.
nexus? How did you get over the hump and get the ball delivered the way you...
Well, it actually,
Needed
it because you respected the ability of she's a fantastic footballer who wasn't naturally born with natural ability, but worked so hard to improve her skills over the course
So
of
she
the time.
made the most of what she had.
Yes, and it made you like you put that ball on that. In the end, it forced you to really work hard at your delivery to her and made you accountable, very much accountable. So. No, great friendship still today, even though we might not see each other as much because she's down in East Gippsland. If you ever, either of us ever need anything, we're always. But yeah, wonderful competitor, played state football with her, played international football with her, and and she even coached me towards the end before she
Can you remember your first game together playing for the Matildas?
It would be my debut, Brazil, the Brazil game in China. Poor Jane was playing fullback. I don't know why she was playing fullback because she was a winger.
Who was the coach in that period?
Captain Socceroo, John.
Johnny Warren.
No,
Oh.
who's the other guy? Oh, gee whiz.
Mhm.
Oh, isn't that bad that I can't remember his name?
The only Captain Socceroo I
He was
remember
on
is
TV.
Johnny Warren.
No, it wasn't Johnny. He was on TV. John something. John.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's a quiz
Now
one,
you've got
isn't
me.
It is. I know who you think of. It was the captain Socceroo
If you
before Johnny.
know who it is, 99449999.
Yes,
And
ring
we'll
in
take
or
the call.
tweet in.
Or tweet in.
Or-
I'm going to
Please
start
do.
Wasn't
looking.
John Anderson, was it?
No, I can't remember my first coach.
No. it'll come to us. It'll come. So
Just don't mind me, I'll just go back.
she was a
over here.
converted winger now playing as a fullback.
Yeah, which it didn't work. So it found out pretty quickly that wingers aren't the best defenders.
Can't
Back
tackle.
in those days, no. So
Can't tackle, can't
yeah.
chase, don't want to.
so he switched it back to a more obvious position, which was right.
And where did you play in your debut? What position?
I played in the midfield in my debut. I worked my way. In the end, I think I ended up playing centre back. But yeah.
With the way things change and
Yeah.
all. It's funny, a winger, we're not known for chasing back. In fact, we probably refuse.
Yeah.
Tackling's not our strong point. You said you avoided the physical side the early days by just being quicker and faster
Yeah.
and evading.
Yeah.
But I saw something on social media when I posted about this show from, I think it was Steve Darby, I could
yes.
be wrong.
One of my coaches at
Yeah.
national level. Yes.
Now, I can't say what he wrote, but it was hard as, and it rhymed with, I think, truck.
Right.
So how does a evasive winger who probably doesn't enjoy tackling get a
I
reputation
used to
like
love
that?
tackling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously got put back into centre back for the national team, and I played a bit of centre back for the Victorian team. I used to love tackling because that's when you could slide tackle, and you could take them, the ball and the player,
yes.
and it was a fair tackle.
What
I
about
loved
the grass stains on your shorts?
I never used to bowl. Well, there was hardly any grass on some of the pitches.
Correct. There you go. There
Played
you
on
go.
some dunghills, didn't you?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
pretty muddy, so I used to love tackling. So I had a bit of a reputation.
Was it Johnny Doyle?
Yes, there you go.
Oh, how fantastic
What
is
was
that?
his nickname? Was it Captain something? Oh, he was.
He was
used to
Captain
do-
Socceroo before Shiny Warren. He used to
Is
run
that
those
right?
clinics, yeah.
I got some part of it. Right.
I'm learning all the time, and to the person responsible for sending it through, you bloody beauty, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Who sent it through, Georgie?
Now, if I can find it, I'll go to it now. It's actually, you wouldn't believe it. It was probably the smartest guy in the room, former referee, who's now host of the Lions Den.
Oh, right. Young Josh.
Yeah.
Well done, young Josh.
See it?
The
Someone-
good,
you
I
gotta
could
be
hear
someone
Google
around here.
rattling over here. That must have been it.
No, listen, we have a resource here. He doesn't let you down.
No, very good, very good. All right, so with Jane, great player.
Yeah.
Was she the best you played with for the?
Pretty close.
If
yeah.
not, who was?
The only one that would probably come close would have been Julie Dolan, who was my first captain.
Okay, well, Julie was one of the earliest guests we ever had on this program, and obviously
Matilda number one.
Matilda number one,
Yeah.
and obviously we've had her describe herself,
Mhm.
and Teresa described her as well.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. See if you can go close to what they
So,
said.
that'd be interesting. Look,
Come on, you can do it.
tough as nails on the football pitch. A great competitor. Played what you would say now is the six.
Yep.
But I was a young Victorian coming into a predominantly New South Wales, Queensland national team. And
With a British passport.
I had to have an Australian passport.
Oh, okay.
And she welcomed me and made me feel really comfortable because it was pretty nerve-wracking, some intimidating players in there, and that's where she gave me the nickname John Lennon.
Yes.
My glasses.
Johnny Lennon.
Yeah, and
I'm glad George didn't ask why.
Thank you very much.
but yeah, a great leader, and still does quite a bit of work for women's football around the traps. It's good to see her pop up on things now.
Leaders don't
No.
stop becoming
Yeah.
leaders, do they?
No, they don't.
That's fair enough. So she described herself as a Glenn Hoddle type. Would you go as far as saying, is that,
well, that's
is
pretty
that
close,
accurate?
isn't it? He would have played more than 10, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's this. Yeah,
And she
she's
had the
this-
vision and
Yeah, oh,
the
yes.
creativity to
Absolutely.
go with the steel that a six could
Yeah.
bring.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's it. Well, we're happy with that. All right. So you and Jane at North Dandenong.
Yeah.
Where did we go from?
Well, the FFE at that point decided that we couldn't have North Dandenong and Dandenong City, so they amalgamated.
Because
I don't know. We were
just because the FFE can do things.
can do things like that. It was mainly because we were 3 kilometres up the road. Dandenong North was green and white, predominantly a Celtic type feel, and
Yeah.
Dandy City was blue and white, Rangers. So they figured that those two clubs could quite easily
Blue and
amalgamate.
green.
The old firm. How do you amalgamate the old firm?
Yeah, and we had to go to Dandenong from North Dandenong because Dandenong had got the funding for the new facility up there, which is still there today. And
So your politics still playing there?
yeah, it didn't work very well from a committee because obviously you can't marry Celtic and Rangers together now, can you? So yeah, we had quite a successful time there, playing in red and blue, and for about 5 or 6 years, I think. Don't quote me because my memory is not as good as it used to be. And then we reached the time where they got the extra club rooms built. They got the extra rooms because there was females there, and then things sort of fell apart from there. We weren't sort of as welcomed as what we had been previously. So that's when Berwick City jumped in, and we went to Berwick City and had that very successful period for Berwick City.
Okay, who were some of the teammates in that period?
At Berwick,
Yeah.
obviously Teresa played for us a bit in Berwick.
Was it tough playing in front of Teresa?
Oh, when I was centre back, yeah.
You would have been
Why?
deafened.
I was deaf, and I played centre back.
We should explain that she just doesn't stop.
She doesn't
talking,
stop.
which is what a good keeper does. Keeps you guys
And she
aware
keeps-
of what's going on.
Kept us honest. That's why I was deaf. If you didn't do the right thing, you copped it. And I made.
Was she polite?
Nah,
Okay,
didn't
just
have to be
check.
polite in those
She
days.
was very polite when she
would-
was in here,
Oh,
but I
she
just
was
wanted to make
extraordinarily
sure.
so. She said butter wouldn't melt in her mouth.
Very blunt, straight to the point. But that's how it had to be.
Right.
So I made the mistake one day of getting in her way as she,
Oh, dear.
as she slid out, and yes, I have a reconstructed right ankle, courtesy of that tackle.
Wow.
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire plagued me for the rest of my life.
Teresa, are you listening? Wow.
So the lesson was the keeper has the right of way. Get out of the way when the keeper's coming through.
Especially keepers, they're not the brightest, so if they come running, get out of their way.
I'm not going to say that
It's
because I ended up playing a goal.
bright.
So.
It's not about bright. It's about focus.
Uh,
I've told you time and time again.
You say potato.
You can say whatever you like. I'm telling you, you get in the way, you'll cop whatever comes with it.
No, that's fair.
And if momentum is going your way, you're in trouble because I'm a bit bigger than you are.
Clearly, as our guest
Correct.
and her ankle found out. Fair enough.
Oh, wow. I'm just sitting here looking at some of the people that have been associated with you in your life, and there's some great names. George loves to throw things like word association. Bill Murray.
Which George? Yeah.
You. Bill Murray, what does he mean to you?
An amazing coach. He came into. I was probably close to the end of my state career when Bill coached the senior women to the titles in Devonport. And he came in at a really good time because I was a bit more mature in my early 30s, coming to the end of my representative career, and he taught me so much indirectly about coaching and people because I was pretty passionate and pretty fiery still then. So he just taught me how, without really telling me he was teaching me, but just taught me how to balance, how to deal with players and how to just do things. So he probably doesn't realise how influential he was on my coaching career.
He struck us as someone who has a wonderful understanding of people.
Most amazing person I've met in the whole of my life, just about.
Yeah,
He left an impact on me in 2 hours here.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe. So I can imagine if you worked.
And a
with
very
both.
sincere and beautiful man,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
you can say that, because I get a sense that his love of the game and his understanding of people gives him
That
a
combination.
unique combo.
Yeah,
Amazing.
That, as you said, gave you tremendous insight just when you weren't thinking. It was
Correct.
insight.
Yeah. I didn't realise I was coaching, but he could deal with the prima donnas, and he could
Is
deal.
that right?
Yeah, he could deal with everyone, and you didn't realise that he was actually dropping. Some of them go, oh, he's just dropping. I didn't realise. But he was very passionate about women's football and
Yeah.
women getting a fair go. So it was quite an honour to have someone of his standing coach us.
Deb Nichols, you're on the Pioneers with the 2Gs. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we want to know what you make of this current squad and any favourites there that are making an impact looking back, both as players and potential coaches down the track. More on the Pioneers and FNR in just a moment.
Welcome back. Thursday night on the Pioneers. You're with G1 and G2 and our special guest Matilda Deb Nichols. And we touched on Bill Murray. No Pioneer show should go without at least speaking about Bill Murray.
Because his presence and his contribution to the game is still giving back, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here you have a Matilda, and she tells you that Bill's drive, energy and advice made her an even better coach.
And because he's still working in football and still having an impact on young people,
Listen
in 20
up.
years' time,
Yeah,
30
listen up.
years' time,
They'll be talking about
I'll
it.
still be talking about
Correct.
Bill Murray.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Very
Also,
special person.
A big influence on your coaching. Now, I don't want to jump, but you obviously spent a lot of time coaching at Cranbourne.
Yes, I did.
That was your main, what do you call that, the main coaching gig for a
Yeah,
long
that was the
period
main
of time?
coaching gig. The
And
longest.
successful?
Yes.
Okay, so talk us through that period and how that came about.
We'd been very successful at Berwick, and then we had the winter of all winters, and Fox Road was a mud pit. We couldn't actually even, at one point, we couldn't train on Fox Road for 3 months, and we were struggling to even play. So Cranbourne just jumped in and said, would you like to play your games here? We went, oh yeah, we'll do
We
that.
need a ground.
We need a ground, we'll
Yeah.
do that. So we started playing there, and they sort of started to say, well, you know, would you like to come here? If you come here, like simple things as, we'll give you new training balls, we'll give you a new strip, stuff that we never got previously. We had to buy all the stuff
Huge
ourselves.
incentive.
Yeah, and so we made the plunge, and we went to Cranbourne, and that was a really fun time. That we had a great time at Cranbourne.
So you were still playing at this point?
I was still playing
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah, I did my knee at about 36, so that's when I started to curtail my playing. Mind you, I come back as a goalkeeper, so that's just another story.
Jeez, you're just getting better and better in
I was
my
just going
eyes.
backwards,
I tell you
wasn't I? I was
now.
going further and further backwards. Than
No, just growing in maturity and impact. And
It is in the eye of the beholder.
I'm thinking a winner. I love it. Never give it away. Just morph. And you see, if you stick to one thinking, you can end up like a dinosaur. But if you keep evolving, you play longer in the game.
I just wanted to play, so
That's
that's
it.
what all the only
That's
position
it.
my knee would let me play in.
So did you have the new technology on the knee, or did you have the old technology on the
No,
knee?
I had the patella tendon and so
Oh.
not the hamstring.
Oh.
Had a very good surgeon. I was lucky. I had a really, really good surgeon, and it gave me another. I probably played another 12 years on that.
12 years.
It's
That is fantastic
it's
stuff.
stuffed completely now, but I enjoyed it.
You play for as long as you can. You're
12
a long time
years as a
retired.
goalkeeper. Can you imagine? Hey? Yeah, you would have learned every angle.
I was terribly competitive, so I used to make sure that I.
And I bet you
hated-
didn't flap at corners
No, I wasn't a good jumper though because of the knee.
because of the knee.
But
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't make a big boo-boo. That used to be the thing that used to drive you, don't make a stupid mistake. So,
And were you as vocal as the bear was?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The poor thing.
Lived up to that, did
It was
you?
like I was coaching from goal. Can't imagine.
So was that the beginning of the coaching ideas? Is that where it started to come from not being able to play?
Well, no, because I did some junior coaching in '93, around that time.
And you
Jane.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. That wasn't too again, but that's before parent politics came into junior football. So I really enjoyed that. But now it's quite funny because the other night at training I was actually standing in goal, so we could do a certain thing, and so of course I couldn't help myself.
No.
These kids are about 14, 15, and I'm yelling at my back four, making them come and virtually doing what I was doing in goal.
Compact. Stay compact.
Yeah, tuck in,
Yeah,
work
tuck
back,
in, tuck.
and the poor kids were just dead by the end of it. They were travelling, but they did they did it. They just needed it. You don't get vocal goalkeepers.
Don't get
at 14.
vocal anything anymore.
No. So it was very funny.
Okay, so at what point did Deb the player finally become Deb the coach?
Well, as a player coach, I don't know when. Can't remember. It was probably around the time I did my knee, and I was probably player coach till I left Casey. And I went to Sandringham and did reserves with Sean Parton at Sandringham, and I wasn't playing, even though they actually thought I was a goalkeeper for the Matildas. So I must have played really well against them.
You must have done.
Club football, but so I was. I went there I played once for them in goal as an emergency.
Okay.
But I used to fill in the training.
So when we coached against each other, were you technically still player coach at that point?
Could have been.
Okay, all right.
You coached against
We
one
coached
another.
against each other for one season.
So okay, What's
I
the
think-
record?
I think we split the honours, but they have to go to Deb because she won the prelim final and went to the grand final and knocked us out at that point. So
Perfect.
I remember that game was at Casey, wasn't it?
yeah, that was.
I was in
Yeah.
goal.
Deb, you've just gone up in my estimations. If it was possible, another 20%.
We were 1-0 down for most of the game, and we won it 2-1.
2-1.
A penalty, and then an absolute magnificent
Don't
shot.
take me there.
Lucy
This
Capusa.
is like 1997 Iran all over again. All I can remember, specifically, other than obviously the devastation of losing, because
Yeah.
I thought my girls, had played their best game of the season
Mhm.
that day,
Yep.
and you guys had played well. It was probably the most physical
Yes.
game of football I have ever seen, male or female, in my whole life.
Wow.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
dirty, but it
No,
was
it was
physical.
We had
It
the
wa-
Capusta twins in our team. They
Yeah.
were
You-
very physical.
You guys were physical, and our girls weren't normally a physical type side, more the ball playing side, but they stood up
That's
to the
good.
physical side, so I was
Not
proud of them. And when we
intimidated.
came off, having lost, I was happy with that because they couldn't have done anything else.
It's like doing a PB if they play really, really well but still don't win, and you see that they've played above what you imagined. That's fantastic. That is a win.
And I was really proud of them, and I hated Deb ever since. No, I didn't, because if you recall...
I'm led to believe that we should have had you a year and a half ago. Clearly, now I know why
It's
it's
all
taken
about
this
that.
long.
But if you can recall, I did send you an email after the grand final to
Congratulating you.
No.
commiserate.
Oh, commiserate.
I've lost a few grand finals. We won't go on that subject.
Okay. But we will talk about Box Hill because they were a powerhouse side
They were,
at
yes.
the time. And that particular season had a player coach as well.
Yes.
In
Didge.
Digimarco, I can't remember.
Mhm.
Just Danielle.
Daniela
Daniela.
Digimarco.
I found that amazing that obviously you were playing coach and she was, and that you could combine the two. I was having psychiatry every second week and all sorts of assistants from outside to deal with
Too many
the women's side of
nutmegs.
the game. But you guys were coaching and playing.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And obviously the two grand finals to boot.
Yes, and I kept in that grand final too.
Did you?
Yeah, it was at the old Olympic Park.
What was the
and,
score?
Yeah, it was 1-1. And then
Was it extra time or shootout?
when we went to a penalty shootout, and the goal they got was a known goal. It was the best own goal ever against me. My centre back just stuck a raw top corner, chipped me beautifully, and then we lost it on penalties.
Doesn't help, does it?
No.
Right, now let's move on to the good bits. But I do want to talk about Mr. Parton.
Yes.
I know him as Mr. Parton because he was my Year 9 PE teacher.
And we're not
Still is a
talking.
PE
We're not
teacher.
talking Dolly either.
No, not Dolly.
No.
Anything but Dolly.
Okay.
A very pleasant, quiet, unassuming big man.
Yes.
But when it comes to football, slightly
Yes.
different.
Very
So
passionate.
talk to us about Sean and the influence he had and how that worked. at
So his
Sandringham.
middle name is Hulk. Is that right? He goes green.
You could. He was as competitive as what I was. So and
Very.
probably around the same age. So we have very much the same beliefs, same ideas around football and what to expect from football. So we actually worked really well together. We didn't disagree very much at all because we're both on the same path. And he pretty much because I left Casey, I was sacked by Casey, but so it was my
Is there a
first-
story there?
No, it's just
No.
one of those things that they needed.
Time to go.
Yeah, they probably needed a change, and it was good for me too because I probably needed a change. And he just gave me a different viewpoint on coaching because I'd stepped away from the head coach role. I was assistant. I was the reserve coach and the assistant to him, so it took a bit of pressure off me. And I just learned different stuff from him. You know, he'd always join the games, and you could say he was definitely a centre back. You could see that, and that his 3 daughters were playing as well.
How
And
did that go in the general mix with 3 daughters in the team?
it went really well actually because he never really got angry. He'd get more angry at the referees and the officials.
Yeah,
We had
I
some
can see
funny
that.
games in that regard,
Yeah,
but
he was calm.
as calm as when he would talk to you at half time and all that. So I learnt that part of him to try and not be too passionate at half time and at the end of the game he wouldn't talk to him at the end of the game. He always say that if you can't say anything nice, don't say it.
Don't say.
So yeah, I learned a few things out, but it was a fun time. I really enjoyed it, that 5 years.
How much preparation as a coach in the early days, and how much of a preparation do you have today?
Oh, today, ridiculous. Compared to
Why?
Why?
What, is it because you know so much more, or you have seen so much more and you want to try and cover every contingency?
Probably more now is I coach at MPL, and there's so many boxes you've got to tick from FFE perspective for the coaching. You've got to have
Is that
session.
the licence system? Is that what you're talking? Is that the
Well, they also demand off of the clubs as well. There's some session planners. You've got to show your training cycles for that. So you've got to do a lot of paperwork.
Okay.
But also, they're obviously too. The kids are paying a significant amount of money.
Yep.
You know, back in the old days, you were lucky if you paid $50 a season. Now these kids are paying $2,000 a season. So
Wow.
there's a bit of expectation there.
Can we bring that money cost down, or are we locked into this cycle?
I stay away from as much policy as I can. I'm the financials, but it would be wonderful to be able to bring that cost down to allow
More and more people to play.
kids that aren't able to
No,
afford that.
socially-
There's probably some
Yeah.
fantastic footballers out there. I guarantee there's fantastic players out there that just don't get the opportunity.
There has to be.
Or
Yeah.
intimidated by the fact that we can't find the $2,000.
And we train 3 nights a week.
Yeah, that's
That's a
it.
commitment.
Mm.
Yeah, and we play obviously once. So 4 days of the 7 is football, and we're doing our preps. I probably spend 30 hours a week now, easy, on top of the day job.
Gee, can you imagine if you were a professional?
Oh, it'd be marvellous.
Where would you find the time?
I would be able to do so much more, obviously.
It's a big commitment going back, say, from compared to, say, your Cranbourne days, in
Yes.
terms of time and hours put in.
Yeah, well, it was only 2 training sessions a week, and
You could still turn
No
up and say,
paperwork.
we're going to play a game
Yeah,
and do
exactly.
2 laps tonight.
yeah, well, you could have your session in your head, or you could have little bits of it wrote down, but you didn't have to present it in the format that you
yeah.
need to present stuff in now. So yeah, it was. Yeah, you thought you were busy then, but no, not compared to now. It's much more demanding.
Deb Nichols is our pioneer on FNR. Matilda, who loved her game against Brazil in China.
Yes, it was in China. We beat them too.
That's
1-0. Was that the 1-0?
anytime you beat a nation that has so much pedigree, you probably walk a lot taller.
We did, because we weren't expected to. We were this team with the
Kangaroos.
the buffalo outfit. The buffalo sports. Remember those?
Oh, yeah, I
strips?
do remember.
Yeah, horrific.
Yeah, I was
so-
going to ask you what you made of the new Matilda strip, and if you would care to wear it.
It's not too bad actually. I
Looks-
like it with the white socks. I think it's
Yeah.
really good with the white socks. I don't think
Any
it's too bad.
Socceroo outfit has to be with the white
Yeah.
socks, or
But
Matilda's for that
After
matter.
what we wore, this is good.
Anything's an improvement.
Okay, you've told us about one of the great games when you beat Brazil.
Yeah.
Some of the other games that you would rather forget really quickly.
Probably getting beaten by China 7-0.
What were you thinking?
Well,
Tell me you weren't in goal.
no, I wasn't. Teresa was in goal. God bless. And I got subbed at half time because he actually went with a dual sweeper system or some really weird defensive system. But I was actually marking this Chinese player that, oh my gosh, would make Mark Viduka look small. She was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baby Huey.
Just to give you an idea, Mark Viduka is a big man.
Yeah. She was huge. And I went, oh, how am I going to catch this? Her quads were twice the size of mine. And
The
yeah,
total mismatch.
it was a total mismatch, and he made the decision. I think we were 2 or 3 down at half time, and he made the decision to bring me off. Thank God.
One of those times.
I
you
just
think,
sat on the bench and watched the disaster
Oh,
continue to unfold. But there was the difference.
Tell me, Michael, your father, who was your first coach,
Yeah.
Is he still with us?
Yes, he is.
And what does he make of your coaching manner and style? And does he have any words to say to you about
doesn't
you
really
might?
talk to
Does he
me.
want you to relax more with the girls?
No, because he doesn't really watch it. He's a bit of a rugby league fanatic now. So.
So we need to speak to Michael. Michael, snap out of it.
So I've just got memories of him in his red tracksuit with his cigarette on the sideline when you could smoke on the sideline while you were coaching.
What did he make of your time with the Matildas? Did that fill him with great pride?
He was proud. Yeah, he was proud. He wouldn't tell you that too much because
Old
that's
school again.
old school. Yeah, it was like getting an A for physical
Did
education.
Mum-
That's the expectation.
Did Mum make up for it?
Oh, They were proud, but they weren't jumping up and down and swinging from the rafters. You know, they didn't push you out there.
They had to watch you wear the buffalo gear.
Yeah, they did that. Just a quiet. You know, there was not a lot of coverage either. They wouldn't. I've got some footage on VHS of that Brazil game, which I need to transfer to a better.
We can help.
George will make it
anything
happen.
to get footage shared out there.
Yeah,
I'll be
because
involved.
it's from that game.
So you see what happens? He then will make sure it's transferred.
Yes.
He'll have a copy, and you'll have the pristine copy you desire. You see
sure.
how it works?
And we'll get it on the social media, so everyone who deserves to see it, all the football fans,
And people who
will
love
see
the
it.
game, absolutely.
It does show me chopping a Brazilian in half, literally.
Well, we'll cut that and keep it on repeat and make a meme out of it.
So what do you make of the Matildas at the moment?
Yes.
Oh, very exciting. Yeah.
Hey, there's a World Cup
It's a
coming.
World Cup,
Are
yeah.
you ready?
I'm ready. Okay, it's a shame that the time zone's going to be a pain, but yes, I'm ready. I think it's going to be fantastic. I so hope they do so well.
Do you have any favourite players that you wish you could have had playing with you in the days when you were a Matilda?
It's a completely different set now. Of
I know, but
players.
could you imagine Sam Kerr running and you delivering the ball to her in the days when you were the left winger or the right winger?
I could, but we had some pretty good centre forwards in our day as
Oh.
well. Yeah, we had some really good. It wasn't a bad side that we had at the time. It just didn't have the same. Like, we were lucky if we played 3 games a year.
Well,
Now
I'll
they
throw
probably
some
play
some names at you. Caitlin Ford. Did we have a Caitlin Ford type?
No, we didn't. Good player, Caitlin Ford. I like KK personally, but that's
KK.
because she's a bit of a nuggety midfielder that does a lot of work. I like.
She's
the player
also a
that works
Melbourne
hard.
City girl. So
Well, we won't
that
talk
makes it
about
special.
that.
Oh, here we go. We're going to play those
What
games.
about my girl, Katrina Gorry?
Oh, yeah?
When
okay.
she gets back from her
That's right.
injury,
She's
Lozano.
quite inspiring for every player in my team that's not as tall as the others. They always seem to talk about Katrina.
What do you make of Miss Carpenter, who started off? She was given a fantastic chance to play or become a Matilda from 15, and she just continues to grow.
She just probably doesn't know any other life, does she? She's virtually a professional footballer.
Yeah.
How amazing! What an
Just-
opportunity.
absolutely.
Yeah. Tough,
Tamika
tough
Butt?
as well. Yeah, look, they're all pretty tough. I like the way that they all, are very competitive. They don't give up. So they've still got that old bit in them of that.
Do you like having the idea of Ante Milicic, a new voice, so close to a World Cup?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? So far, so good. So it will be, it's probably freshened everything up and everyone's on notice. So interesting. Not that you're behind the scenes, but you'd love to be a fly on the wall.
As a former Matilda, or sorry, you're always a Matilda.
Yeah.
As a former player, how hard is it being cut at a critical time? You're in the squad. You want to provide all the support you can, but we're going to have a series of matches now, and some of the girls will play and some won't. What do you say to them?
It's hard because I remember when I did get cut from.
Oh, come on, you're the coach now.
How would I tell them?
How would you tell them?
well, how were you told first?
You're off.
I did get a phone call to say that, but I hadn't recovered from that ankle reconstruction. That was pretty much what led to me dropping right out. That didn't come up because it took a year. That's in the old way of doing things. Those sort of things don't take a year now. So you sort of, when you miss a couple of squads and then you're pretty much the right on the wall. So you just go back and play state football.
Yep.
It wasn't like now where they played lots of, really, they're full time, they're playing 20 games a year possibly. We didn't have that much. So you weren't saying, I missed 15 games. You would maybe only have 2 or 3 internationals a year if you were lucky. So.
Okay, coach. What do you say to them? It's June. We're now talking
Chance of a lifetime.
May. The World Cup. The women are getting ready. The sponsors have come on board. They've got their strip, and they're all going. And you know full well there's first game we're coming up. Who are you going to? Well, how do you tell? No, I don't want you to say names.
No, I know.
Because it's not our responsibility.
It's bad enough telling a kid on 15-year-old on the weekend that they're not going to start at 11. Without telling them Matilda.
You've had plenty of practice though.
Oh, yeah, I've had good days and bad days.
Have you got it wrong along the way?
As in made the mistake to cut them? Or how I've done it?
How you've done it?
I don't, well, they're probably best to ask them if they think I've done it badly.
I put it to you that if she's cut someone and didn't quite feel good about it, it was the Michael's way of doing it. And if it's worked, it's
No, I'm not.
definitely
I
Deb's
am
way
a
of
bit
doing
softer than I used to be, I can assure you. It's
Wow.
more the parents' reaction. The kids are
Okay.
pretty okay. It's parents that sometimes don't like the news.
Because
that
kids are
their
resilient.
maybe their kid's not going to be an international footballer.
Oh,
You know.
Well, George has coached a women's team, and he knows what parents are about. And they're not easy, are they?
Parents.
They always
women's
want the
team,
best, but
is the same. It's the parents are. It's not a gender thing. It's not women. It's not juniors. It's not seniors. It's the same everywhere.
Yep.
That's hard work. I agree. The parents can be the stumbling block.
Yep.
You try and keep them as far away from you, the team, as possible. But at some point, the parents find out.
do you have any people you want to say thank you to who've made a terrific contribution and have meant the world to you?
Obviously Jane Oakley.
Yep.
For her influence. Teresa for.
The less is said about the goalkeeper who broke your ankle, the better.
But inspired me to be a goalkeeper.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Obviously,
sliding door moment.
Yeah.
She killed your international career, but inspired you to be a goalkeeper.
Obviously, Sean and Bill for the coaching side of it. My current assistant, Emma Bracken, or Braxy as everyone knows her, is a godsend. She's kept me doing this because I don't think I could do these kids without her. With a, zig and zag sort of thing. She's should
Works
probably
well.
say that actually. But I can be the tough one. She can be the softie, and then when I'm being a bit soft, she's being
Good
a
cop,
bit
bad
tough.
cop.
And it's funny sometimes because because she's much younger than me. And I think, that's as passionate as angry I was at your age doing this gig, and I've mellowed a little bit, and I can understand why you're a little bit more passionate than that. But there's a couple of kids that I hope out of this group go on. I've had one kid there that we took in at 11, who's now gone across to the NTC. Fantastic natural football. I didn't actually have to coach her.
How old is she?
She would be maybe 14 now, 13 maybe. She's 14. Yeah.
And you can see that much talent in her.
Yeah, I just hope because you could see she had natural ability and she could actually play she could see things the other kids couldn't see. So you just go play my 10.
Vision.
And play. I'm not going to coach you. I'm just going to give you a little bit of it, but you just play because I think you can coach them too early.
Yep.
Take away that natural flair.
Yep.
So this year she got selected to go to the NTC. So I just hope that.
How refreshing is it to hear that from a coach?
Oh, sensational.
I just hope she doesn't get lose that natural flair by going into a more
Structured system.
So that's Alexandra Davies, Al, currently. So hopefully, I think she moves like a footballer. So I have high hopes that she'll go on and do well. It'd be interesting in the next stage of her education.
Gee, Deb, it's fantastic to hear you speak like that, because I've had the rare pleasure of seeing a champion very early in their career, and you looked at them and they looked so beautifully poised, and you thought, oh my goodness, if they want to do something, and this is before where they turned up, they've played around the world, they've played 2 or 3 different sports, and they've been leaders. And I first saw her at 14. Wow, a crowd of about 49,000 people. She came on in a charity game and never looked back.
Are you going to drop the name? Or?
Erin Phillips, the daughter of the great Greg Phillips, the former
AFLW.
AFLW, the star. She won every award in her first year. She should have taken Mark of the Year as well. But I saw her as a 14-year-old. So beautifully balanced, had so much smarts, and never intimidated by even all the legends that played around her, who did accommodate her, but they never imagined they were going to see something that special. And I'm delighted to hear that you believe this. Another one around the corner, someone 13, 14.
You go, that one's just a little bit different.
And does she have this inside?
Oh yeah, very keen. That's why she went to NTC, because that's the pathway for them, they believe, to get into being Matilda. So that's why she made the commitment to go. But if you in the circle and someone say who wants to be Matilda, she'd always be the one to put her hand up. She's got that desire. So I hope she makes it.
Great. It's good that the young girls are aspiring to want to be Matildas as their first option. That's great news for our sport. And we're lucky to have a Matilda here in the studio, the third one we've had in the program since the inception.
And a seamless hour of radio just like that. Thank you
very
very much.
smooth. She's not going to do a John Lennon song for us.
No, I can't sing.
Just imagine.
No, it would be good.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Deb. Now, next week, all you people out there with your Google machines, look up Michael Denton, St George, Socceroo, and we'll be speaking live to young Michael next week on the Pioneers again on a Thursday night. Georgie?
All I can say is stand by. The Lions Den is coming.
FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Buttianas, no call! Score!
Salamini for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Zanosky with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Bath blasts. Yes! That's it!
Miljevic.
Here's Bozanic. They haven't! They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Danikian and George Kotzanis on FNR, Football Nation Radio.